Did you know the Anunnaki were not the creators of humanity but refugees, and that their arrival on Earth was not a divine act, but a desperate search for survival on a dying planet, Nibiru? The lost tablets, recently discovered, reveal a startlingly different history, one deliberately hidden to control humanity's perception of its origins, though the evidence is undeniable. Step back to ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, where the Sumerians mysteriously appeared with advanced knowledge of agriculture, mathematics, and astronomy. Their civilization seemingly sprung from nowhere, displaying a sophistication that defied conventional historical timelines. They wrote of kings who reigned for millennia and beings who descended from the heavens to guide and govern them. The Sumerians attributed their knowledge to the Anunnaki, beings who possessed advanced technology and a profound understanding of the cosmos. Not gods, but beings of flesh and blood with lifespans far exceeding our own, and technology we are only now beginning to comprehend. However, the traditional narrative overlooks critical details found within the lost tablets, details that paint a far more complex and perhaps sinister picture. These tablets suggest the Anunnaki sought more than worship from humanity. They sought a solution to their own existential crisis. The knowledge contained within these tablets has been suppressed for millennia, kept hidden by those who benefit from humanity's ignorance of its true origins. Zecharia Sitchin's translations introduce the Anunnaki to the modern world, igniting a firestorm of controversy and sparking new interest in ancient Sumerian texts. He posited that the Anunnaki came to Earth to mine gold, using humans as slave labor. However, these so-called lost tablets show that he may have misinterpreted key events, or perhaps only scratched the surface of a far grander scheme. The tablets, discovered in a hidden chamber beneath the ancient city of Eridu, were unearthed by a team of archaeologists led by Dr. Eleanor Vance, who has since faced immense pressure to discredit her findings. So Vance was saying, what if the Anunnaki weren't benevolent creators, but desperate survivors who saw Earth as a solution to their own impending doom, and humans as a means to that end? To uncover this hidden history, we must examine the key passages of the lost tablets and consider the archaeological evidence with a fresh perspective, setting aside preconceived notions and daring to question the established narrative. We must delve into the secrets they guard and the truth they conceal, a truth that could reshape our understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Did you know the dire state of Nibiru wasn't just a backdrop, but the driving force behind everything the Anunnaki did on Earth? The core of this hidden history reveals they were not cosmic gardeners tending to a new Eden, but desperate survivors facing planetary collapse. This ecological catastrophe and the Anunnaki's reaction to it is the key to unlocking their true motivations. Were the Anunnaki driven by compassion or desperation? Prepare to re-evaluate everything you thought you knew, for the lost tablets tell a harrowing tale of survival at any cost. What the lost tablets make explicitly clear in Tablet 12 verse 4 is that Nibiru was dying. The skies grew dark, the fields turned barren, and the great winds howled without mercy. These are not the words of God surveying their creation. They are the cries of refugees witnessing the slow death of their world. Tablet 15, verse 2 depicts the debates among the Anunnaki Council, with some advocating for peaceful solutions and others, like Enlil, demanding more drastic measures. The tablets also mention their reliance on advanced technology, not as a display of divine power, but as a last-ditch effort to preserve their atmosphere and find a new home. According to Tablet 4, verse 7, Anu himself stated, "Our crafts are our salvation. They are how we can reach the skies, travel to the stars, and take the gold we require." This was essential for Nibiru's survival as it decayed. Tablet 6 mentions how long the journey would be. The path to Kai Earth is long and treacherous. Each journey will take many years for each craft. Enlil was saying, "The implications of Nibiru's ecological crisis are profound." Forced to choose between their survival and the well-being of Earth's inhabitants, the Anunnaki arguably chose the former. This desperation, described in the tablets, might explain actions that would be considered monstrous by today's standards. It's essential to consider that power dynamics within the Anunnaki leadership, particularly the tension between Enlil and Enki, further complicated matters, with Enlil seemingly more willing to exploit Earth's resources without regard for consequences. Enki, on the other hand, appeared to be more in favor of compassion. While traditional interpretations often depict the Anunnaki as benevolent gods bestowing civilization upon humanity, the lost tablets present a far more nuanced and unsettling picture. What if, driven by the imminent demise of their own world, they saw Earth and its resources as merely a means to an end, a cosmic lifeline to be exploited without remorse? Did they view the indigenous life on Earth as something to cultivate or an obstacle to overcome? The question of whether any civilization, no matter how advanced, has the divine right to exploit another for its own survival is raised. But if survival was their primary goal, what role did humans play in their plans? The lost tablets reveal the startling truth. The Anunnaki genetically engineered humans to serve as a workforce, a means to extract Earth's resources, particularly gold, to save their dying planet. It wasn't a gift of civilization, but a calculated act of resource extraction, with humanity as the unwitting tool. Tablet 9, verse 3 details the Anunnaki's genetic experiments. With the seed of life they crafted a new being, a hybrid of their own and the creatures of Kai. The tablets reveal a deliberate creation of a species designed for labor, with limitations built in, both physical and mental. Tablet 11, verse 6, explicitly states the purpose: to toil in the fields to mine the earth, to ease the burden of the Anunnaki. The tablets speak of the critical need for gold to repair Nibiru's deteriorating atmosphere, describing in detail how the Anunnaki used their advanced knowledge of genetics to create a being capable of enduring the harsh conditions of mining. The primary figures involved in this genetic manipulation were Enki and Ninmah. Enki was the chief scientist and Ninmah, a skilled healer, assisted in the process. The ethical implications of this genetic manipulation are staggering. Did the Anunnaki have the right to create a species for their own benefit, essentially turning humans into slaves? The lost tablets suggest that this manipulation had a profound impact on human evolution, potentially limiting our consciousness and potential. While some believe humanity's limited lifespan is a natural phenomenon, could it be that reptilian intervention also played a role? It's important to examine the power dynamics between the Anunnaki and the newly created humans. The tablets suggest the Anunnaki maintained control through a combination of genetic limitations and technological superiority, creating a system of dependence that ensured their continued dominance. Alternative interpretations of human origins exist, of course, but the lost tablets offer a compelling, albeit disturbing, alternative explanation, one that challenges our very understanding of what it means to be human. So, what role did the Anunnaki play in this cataclysmic event that we know as the Great Flood? The lost tablets suggest the Great Flood was not a divine punishment, but an unintended consequence of Anunnaki technology gone wrong, or perhaps even a deliberate attempt to wipe out a failed experiment. It appears humanity was nothing more than a petri dish for experimentation, and Enlil was prepared to burn the experiment down. The lost tablets offer grim details on this event. Tablet 22, verse 1 clearly states, "The great waters shall rise, and all but those deemed worthy shall perish." The tablets further reveal the Anunnaki's advanced weather manipulation technology, raising the possibility that they inadvertently triggered or exacerbated the flood, or that this technology was intentionally used to wipe out the population. Enlil, driven by his disdain for humanity, appears to have advocated for letting the flood run its course. But Enki, showing compassion for his creation, secretly warned a select few, allowing them to survive. As Tablet 23 verse 8 reads, "I cannot stop the storm, but I can offer a means of escape." Enki was saying, what were the motives behind the Annunnaki's actions during the Great Flood? Did they see it as an opportunity to eliminate a flawed creation, or were they simply indifferent to the fate of humanity? The ethical implications of their decision not to warn the masses are chilling, suggesting they prioritized their own survival over the lives of those they had created. It raises a crucial question. If the Anunnaki possessed technology capable of causing such a cataclysm, did they also understand the long-term consequences, and what did the reptilians gain by the cleansing of Earth? The lost tablets don't provide easy answers, but they force us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that our history is far more complex and far more disturbing than we ever imagined. Now that you have heard this evidence, what should we be doing? What did they leave behind, and will they ever come back? These tablets reveal the Anunnaki had a specific purpose for humanity. The Anunnaki left behind advanced technology, as well as clues. So, what have we learned? The lost tablets offer a radical reinterpretation of the Anunnaki narrative, painting them not as gods, but as complex beings driven by survival. We've explored their refugee status, their genetic manipulation of humans, and their potential role in the Great Flood, revealing stark discrepancies with traditional accounts. Instead, the tablets portray them as desperate survivors who viewed Earth as a resource to be exploited, and humanity as a means to that end. Do these tablets offer us a more accurate understanding of our origins, or are we simply trading one myth for another? Prepare yourself, because what we will uncover in the coming sections will change everything you thought you knew about human history. Did you know the Anunnaki's obsession with gold wasn't just about hoarding treasure? The truth, according to the lost tablets, is far more dire. They needed it to survive. The core of this desperate need reveals they were not benevolent gods bestowing gifts upon humanity, but refugees desperately trying to save their dying planet Nibiru from a cataclysmic demise. This frantic scramble for survival reveals their hidden agenda for Earth. What was this cosmic crisis, and how did it drive the Anunnaki to such extreme measures? What the lost tablets make chillingly clear, in Tablet 28 verse 5, is that Nibiru was under attack from cosmic rays. The black winds did blow, and the planet decayed by the day. This isn't the language of gods secure in their dominion, but the stark reality of a civilization on the brink. The tablets speak of a cosmic ray bombardment that was tearing away Nibiru's atmosphere, rendering it uninhabitable. According to Tablet 16, verse 9, it was Anu himself that stated, "Without gold, our planet will surely crumble. We need to go to the stars to take this life-saving substance." The Anunnaki saw Earth as the only solution to their dying world. Tablet 3, verse 4 reads that, "The journey would be long, but they could not fail." Enlil was saying, the implications of Nibiru's atmospheric collapse are earth-shattering, and the lengths that the Anunnaki were willing to go to is disturbing. They saw Earth as a resource to be exploited, and humanity as a tool to be used. The texts mention the moral conflict. While some among the Anunnaki questioned the ethics of their actions, the need to survive ultimately outweighed any concerns. Driven by the desperation to save their world, did they sacrifice their morals? What if the Anunnaki viewed humanity as nothing more than a means to an end, a resource to be extracted without regard for the consequences? But if survival was their primary goal, what was the purpose of creating humans? The lost tablets reveal a horrifying truth. The Anunnaki didn't just discover humans. They genetically engineered them to be a slave race, designed to extract Earth's precious resources, especially gold. The goal was to heal Nibiru's atmosphere. It was not an act of benevolence, but an act of cosmic desperation with humanity at the very bottom of the ladder. Tablet 18, verse 2, details the genetic manipulation. With the DNA of themselves and the creatures of Kai, they made a new race. The tablets clearly reveal that humans were created for the sole purpose of serving the Annunaki. It was written into their DNA. According to Tablet 13, verse 7, to toil in the mines, to work the land, to take from the earth what they need. The tablets refer to the advanced technology the Anunnaki used to alter human DNA and create a species perfectly suited for hard labor. The two main Anunnaki figures involved in this process were Enki and Ninmah. Enki, being the chief scientist, led the operation, and Ninmah, the chief medical officer, assisted in bringing it to life. These texts reveal a truth that most would have preferred to be hidden, but it is here, uncovered to be seen by your eyes. The lost tablets indicate that the Anunnaki implemented genetic limitations, restricting humans' lifespans and cognitive abilities, ensuring they remain docile and obedient. Was humanity's creation a selfless act of creation, or was it slavery from the very beginning? According to Tablet 14, verse 3, their minds were darkened, their bodies weakened, their lives were short. Tablet 8, verse 6 describes how human reproduction was carefully controlled to prevent overpopulation. The numbers of humans shall be controlled. Too many would bring about starvation, and it would waste the precious resources. It was Enlil that was saying this. Tablet 5, verse 2 speaks of specialized training given to human supervisors. A few were selected and granted knowledge to control the many. The mines were primarily located in what we now know as Africa, where humans were forced to work in harsh conditions. Tablet 1, verse 2 states, "The mines of the south will provide the gold needed." The implications of these limitations on human free will and self-determination are terrible to consider. Were we created as a slave race with limited agency? What if the Anunnaki intentionally limited our potential, shaping our minds and bodies to serve their purposes? The text suggests that Enki secretly tried to help. Tablet 2, verse 3 states, Enki, in his compassion, secretly gifted small upgrades to the humans. How much reptilian DNA was integrated and for what purpose? But that's not all. The tablets reveal that the Anunnaki were far from united. The battle between Enki and Enlil created a divide. The internal struggle and conflicts of the Anunnaki would shape the future of humanity. What caused the Great Flood? These lost tablets suggest the Great Flood wasn't a divine act of vengeance, but a cataclysmic consequence of the Anunnaki's own internal power struggles, leading to the destruction of the Antarctic ice wall. The battles of these beings would alter the Earth forever. In Tablet 6, verse 4 it reads, "The gods fought amongst themselves for Kai." Their fighting would bring about the destruction of much. Enlil and Enki knew of the coming cataclysm, yet their actions are shrouded in mystery. Did they take steps to mitigate the damage, or did they simply allow the flood to wash away their mistakes? According to Tablet 24, verse 1, the Anunnaki were constantly at war with one another. The Anunnaki fought among themselves. Enlil and Enki did not agree. In Tablet 19, verse 5, it is said, "Their weapons were mighty, capable of splitting the very earth." They fought with weapons unlike anything you can imagine, so-and-so was saying. Tablet 7, verse 8 states, "Humans were mere pawns in their games, their lives meaningless to the gods." They were not benevolent gods, but rather warring factions fighting for control of Earth and its resources, with humanity caught in the middle. These power struggles had a devastating impact on humanity. It led to instability, violence, and the erosion of trust in any authority. They fought for power to maintain control over the human population, preventing them from uniting against their creators. Were these conflicts intentionally staged to keep humans divided and weak? Was the reptilian influence also a factor? These tablets tell us this conflict continues, even to today. The battles are directly connected to the Great Flood. According to Tablet 44, verse 2, the Anunnaki knew about the flood. The great ice wall would fall due to the fighting. What was to become of humanity? The lost tablets reveal the coming flood and the preparations the Anunnaki took. Tablet 17, verse 3 says, "The great flood would come. Only those who we deem worthy can survive." Tablet 9, verse 9 described, "Massive crafts and shelters were constructed to escape the waters." Did the Anunnaki know the flood was coming, and did they simply decide to save themselves while allowing humanity to perish? The tablets point to a chilling truth. The Anunnaki made a calculated decision to abandon humanity to its fate. Tablet 32, verse 5 states, "Let the humans perish, only save those deemed worthy." Morally, their actions are unforgivable, prioritizing their own survival over the lives of those they had created. Was the flood a deliberate attempt to wipe out a failed experiment, or simply the Anunnaki being indifferent to humanity? Was the flood a cleansing? Tablet 67, verse 7 states, "The flood is a chance to start over." What do these ancient events mean to humanity today? The lost tablets offer a glimpse into a past far more complex and disturbing than we ever imagined, one filled with genetic manipulation, power struggles, and cataclysmic events. What do we do with this information? So, what have we uncovered? The lost tablets offer a grim reinterpretation of the Anunnaki narrative, presenting them not as gods but as desperate beings driven by survival, willing to sacrifice humanity for their own selfish goals. We have explored their genetic manipulation of humans, their internal conflicts, and their potential role in the Great Flood, revealing stark discrepancies with traditional accounts. Instead, the tablets portray them as selfish beings who viewed Earth as a resource to be exploited, and humanity as a means to that end. Have we been worshipping our enslavers? What we will uncover next will challenge everything you thought you knew about human destiny. But did all the Anunnaki leave Earth after the flood? The lost tablets suggest that a remnant remained, subtly guiding humanity's development from the shadows, but not for benevolent reasons. Instead, their continued control and manipulation were to ensure humanity's continued subservience. These remaining Anunnaki operate through human proxies, influencing political, economic, and religious institutions to maintain their power. Were they benevolent shepherds or insidious puppet masters pulling the strings of human destiny? Could there be a sleeper cell Anunnaki presence, with some beings interbreeding into human bloodlines, subtly steering the course of history? The tablets speak of this. Tablet 33, verse 7, speaks of the Anunnaki saying, "The blood must continue. Mix with the human so that it continues to guide." It says that they would subtly influence individuals from within, ensuring that their agenda remained on track. The idea of overt God-like intervention is contrasted with the subtlety of long-term manipulation through chosen individuals. Were we truly in control of our destiny, or are we still puppets dancing to the strings of ancient puppet masters? Could Anunnaki bloodlines exist today as part of elite control structures, carrying out the will of their ancient ancestors? The lost tablets allegedly detail the Anunnaki's methods of influence. In Tablet 12, verse 4, it states, "Place descendants in positions of power. Control the flow of resources." This speaks of the strategic placement of Anunnaki descendants in positions of power. Manipulation of human belief systems, religious and political ideologies were also used. Tablet 4, verse 5 states, "Control their minds through religion and politics. Keep them divided." Do we see this pattern playing out in our world today? Are our leaders truly acting in our best interests, or are they serving a hidden agenda? Alleged leaked documents framed with skepticism expose the Anunnaki's ongoing involvement in world affairs. These documents suggest that the Anunnaki used advanced technology, like mind control or frequency manipulation, to influence human behavior. Tablet 1, verse 7, refers to a device called the subduer of minds. It states, "With frequencies they will follow." Key Anunnaki figures said to be still operating on Earth, or influencing events from afar, shaped specific historical events. Anu, Enlil, and Enki are the main figures being discussed. They allegedly manipulate specific historical events to their liking. Was it by chance or by design? This hidden influence has implications on human history. Major events, wars, and revolutions may have been orchestrated by the Anunnaki or their proxies to advance their long-term goals. Are we truly free, or are we living in a carefully constructed prison designed to keep us under control? Ancient Anunnaki control tactics have parallels to modern methods of propaganda, surveillance, and social engineering. The glorification of power and the acceptance of inequality, are they a result of this ongoing manipulation? The tablets provide insight to this. It is written in Tablet 22, verse 2, "Give them distractions and make sure they fight with one another." Although these claims seem conspiratorial, the lost tablets, combined with other evidence, suggest a pattern of hidden influence that warrants further investigation. Modern day, wars are often fought on the same land that the Anunnaki originally mined for gold. Is this a coincidence? Transitioning from the Anunnaki's continued presence to the signs of their influence raises a crucial question. If the Anunnaki are still here, how can we recognize their influence and resist their control? Recognizing specific patterns in our society, technology, and belief systems can reveal the Anunnaki's ongoing manipulation, empowering us to break free. The current societal structures are being used for control, for example, the economy. What steps can we take to reclaim our freedom and create a more equitable world? Specific examples of manipulated technology are found today, such as advanced weaponry, surveillance systems, or energy sources, allegedly derived from Anunnaki technology. We see this technology in many things used by humans. Tablet 4, verse 4 says, "Their weapons are mighty and unlike anything that has been seen by the humans." Again, alleged leaked documents and whistleblower testimonies expose the suppression of alternative technologies that could liberate humanity from dependence on Anunnaki-controlled systems. Anunnaki control of information is done through media, education, and entertainment, which shapes public opinion and suppresses dissenting voices. Is what you know and see on the screen the truth? The techniques used to maintain this influence, such as creating distractions, promoting division, and suppressing alternative viewpoints, are still used. What they don't want you to know is that the psychological effects of this manipulation, including the erosion of critical thinking, the spread of misinformation, and the creation of a culture of fear and obedience, are being created. Certain aspects of human nature, such as the desire for dominance and the tendency towards conflict, are being exploited by the Anunnaki to maintain control. Is there a way to break free from these patterns and create a more harmonious world? Transitioning to the return of the Anunnaki, we must ask, what about those who left? Are they gone forever, or is their return inevitable? The lost tablets contain prophecies about the Anunnaki's return, setting the stage for a potential cataclysmic event or a new era of enlightenment. The reptilians' agenda could be to make humans a food source or slaves again. Does the future hold promise or peril? Allegedly, translated, excerpts describe the signs of the Anunnaki's return, such as ecological disasters, technological advancements, shifts in human consciousness, and the rediscovery of ancient knowledge. Tablet 5, verse 6 reads, "When the skies darken and the earth trembles, they shall return." Passages detailing the potential consequences of their return, both positive and negative, depending on humanity's preparedness, are also included in these tablets. It is written that conditions would trigger their arrival, such as a specific alignment of celestial bodies or a critical mass of human awareness. Tablet 6, verse 6 states, "When the planets align and the minds awaken, they will return." Will humanity be ready for their return, or will we repeat the mistakes of the past? The different interpretations of these prophecies explore the possibility of a benevolent return versus a hostile invasion. What if the prophecies are not fixed predictions, but rather warnings about potential futures that humanity can choose to avoid or embrace? In Tablet 4, verse 3, it says, "The future is not written, but it can be seen. It is up to the humans to choose their destiny." Transitioning to what we should be doing, a critical question is raised. Given the potential for a return, what actions can humanity take to prepare for the future and shape its own destiny? Tablet 23, verse 5 states, "Knowledge is the key, understanding is the path, and action is the way." So, what have we learned? The key points throughout the body emphasize that the lost tablets offer not just a reinterpretation of history, but a call to action. The Annunnaki's continued presence, the signs of their influence, and the potential for their return have all been discussed. The lost tablets portray the Anunnaki not as all-powerful gods, but as beings with their own limitations and vulnerabilities, which humanity can exploit to break free from their control. Humanity has the power to shape its own destiny, regardless of what the future holds. What they don't want you to know is that they can be beat. Will we continue to be puppets of the past, or will we rise to meet the challenges of the future and create a more just and equitable world for all? Unlocking the secrets held within the Annunnaki's technology is crucial to understanding what comes next. Did you know that the Anunnaki have a multi-generational plan for humanity, one that spans millennia and is intricately linked to the cyclical return of Nibiru? This plan extends far beyond mere physical enslavement. It delves into the realms of spiritual and mental conditioning, ensuring humanity's continued subservience and maximizing their utility for the Annunnaki's grand design, which is deeply intertwined with the agenda of the reptilians. The long-term Anunnaki goals are tied to the reptilians' goals to make humans their food source. But what is humanity's ultimate purpose in the eyes of the Anunnaki? According to the lost tablets, humanity serves as a source of energy, a workforce to extract precious resources, or even as vessels for their consciousness, something the reptilians are keen to feast upon as well. This energy, a vital life force, is what sustains them, and we are the crop they cultivate. A harvest is coming, a time when the Anunnaki will return to fully exploit humanity's potential, whether for resources, energy, or as a source of genetic material. Is this harvest merely a resource extraction endeavor, or does it have a deeper, more sinister purpose? Contrast this harvest scenario with the traditional religious concept of a divine judgment, suggesting the latter is a distorted version of the former. Are we being cultivated for a purpose we don't even understand, or are we able to break free of this predetermined destiny? Are we merely cattle raised for slaughter? Translated excerpts from the lost tablets unveil the Annunnaki's genetic modifications to human DNA, allegedly creating dormant switches that can be activated remotely or through specific stimuli. Tablet 7, verse 14, speaks of the seed of the gods, locked within the flesh. It will remain dormant until the time is right. Passages detail the Annunnaki's prophecies about the future, outlining a timeline of events leading up to the harvest, including periods of chaos, technological advancement, and spiritual awakening, all manipulated to serve their purposes. The tablets go on to say that these manipulations are not random. They are precisely orchestrated. Tablet 9 verse 2 says, "Chaos will reign, but it will be by our hand. From the ashes we will rise again." The Anunnaki foresaw periods of chaos and technological advancement, yet these are merely tools for their harvest. These texts mention the creation of specific bloodlines or lineages designed to carry these dormant abilities, positioning them as key players in the unfolding harvest scenario. Lost tablets describe the use of symbolism, sacred geometry, and sound frequencies to influence human consciousness and behavior, activating or suppressing these dormant switches. Tablet 2 verse 5 states, "Symbols shall guide them, sounds shall lull them, and geometry shall bind them." Do you see these symbols anywhere? Are the tones around you of your own making? Tablets reference different planetary alignments that influence humanity as well. The alignment will trigger changes in humanity. What are the implications of this potential harvest scenario for human free will and self-determination? Are we merely puppets on a string, destined to fulfill a preordained role in the Annunnaki's cosmic play? Is humanity being pre-programmed for a specific destiny, or can we rewrite our own code? Consider the ethical ramifications of creating a species with a predetermined purpose, questioning the Annunnaki's right to manipulate human DNA and consciousness in this way. Was it right for them to do this? What did they hope to achieve? Could certain aspects of human culture, such as the obsession with technology, the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment, and the fascination with the apocalypse, be subtly influenced by these dormant switches and the Annunnaki's long-term plan? The lost tablets suggest that these are not coincidental developments, but rather orchestrated aspects of their long-term plan. Tablet 2 verse 7 states, "Give them the tools to destroy themselves. The technology will be their undoing." This would indicate it is a planned self-destruction. While these claims are speculative, the recurring themes of control, manipulation, and hidden agendas in the lost tablets suggest a pattern of intentional design. Are we participants in an experiment without knowing the true purpose? Or are the reptilians using this as their way to feed off of humanity? Was this their end all along? Transitioning from the Annunnaki's long-term plan, we must ask, are we alone in this struggle, or are there other forces at play, benevolent or malevolent, that could influence humanity's destiny? If so, can these other forces help, and at what cost? Are we alone in the universe? Other extraterrestrial races, interdimensional beings, or even ascended masters are aware of the Annunnaki's plan and may be working to help or hinder humanity's liberation. Are they here to help, or do they have their own agenda? There are protector races who seeded Earth with life and are now returning to help humanity awaken to its true potential. But there are hostile races or interdimensional entities aligned with the Anunnaki who seek to exploit humanity for their own purposes. Are all aliens bad, or are there some we can trust? Translated excerpts describe benevolent extraterrestrial races, such as the Pleiadians, Sirians, or Arcturians, who are said to be working to awaken humanity to its true potential and help us break free from the Annunnaki's control. Tablet 10, verse 4 states, "From the stars they will come to guide you. Open your hearts and you will receive them." These specific tablets give background on the specific races. The Pleiadians are often described as being human-like, with a deep connection to the Earth and a desire to help humanity ascend to a higher state of consciousness. The Sirians are said to be highly advanced beings from the star system Sirius, possessing knowledge of science, technology, and spirituality. The Arcturians are described as interdimensional healers and protectors, working to raise the vibrational frequency of the planet and its inhabitants. Passages detail the communication methods used by these beings, such as telepathy, channeling, or dream contact, and the messages they are allegedly conveying to humanity. Tablet 12, verse 3 states, "In your dreams, you will hear them. In your hearts, you will know them. They will speak to you." Texts describe the technologies or spiritual practices used to connect with these benevolent beings and receive their guidance and protection. Meditation, visualization, and energy work are often cited as ways to open channels of communication, Should we believe them or trust them? What do they want? Analyzing the potential motives of these benevolent beings, exploring their reasons for helping humanity and the potential risks and rewards involved in aligning with them, can give us more insight. Do they truly care for our well-being, or do they have their own agenda? Accepting help from external forces can compromise human sovereignty or simply accelerate our evolution. What is the right thing to do? The conflict between the Anunnaki and these benevolent beings may be a reflection of a larger cosmic war between forces of control and forces of liberation. Tablet 16, verse 6 states, "The war in the heavens is mirrored on earth. The battle for your souls has begun." Are we merely pawns in a game of galactic chess, or can we choose our own side? We've asked about the benevolent, but what about the darker side of the equation? Are there other forces at play who are aligned with the Anunnaki and seek to exploit humanity for their own purposes? Are there evil forces at play? Malevolent extraterrestrial races or interdimensional entities, such as the reptilians, Dracos, or archons, are said to be aligned with the Anunnaki and seek to control or harvest humanity for their own benefit. Specific tablets tell of this. Tablet 20, verse 5 states, "They walk among you, but they are not of you. They crave your energy and they seek your demise." These beings are described as cold, calculating, and devoid of empathy. The passages detail their methods of manipulation, such as fear-based programming, energetic vampirism, or the creation of artificial realities. Tablet 22, verse 1 states, "They feed on your fear. They control you with lies. They create the world you see." Methods of manipulation could include the use of propaganda, misinformation, and the suppression of dissenting voices. Texts describe the technologies or spiritual practices used to protect oneself from these malevolent forces. Knowledge, awareness, and discernment are often cited as key tools for defense. Is knowledge enough, or do we need to take more active steps to protect ourselves? Analyzing the potential motives of these malevolent forces, exploring their reasons for seeking to control humanity and the potential consequences of their success, can help us understand their true intentions. Are they seeking to dominate us, enslave us, or simply consume us as a resource? What would happen if they succeed? Are we all doomed if they succeed? Engaging with these entities carries ethical implications, questioning whether it is possible to defeat them without becoming corrupted by their methods. Can we fight evil without becoming evil ourselves? The conflict between these malevolent forces and humanity may be a reflection of the internal struggle between our own lower and higher selves. Tablet 25, verse 7 says, "The battle is within. Conquer your own demons and you will conquer them all." This would mean that personal growth is key. Are we our own worst enemies? Given this complex web of influences, what actions can humanity take to prepare for the coming harvest and shape its own destiny? Is there any way we can escape this trap? What can we do? The key points presented emphasize that the lost tablets offer a complex and disturbing vision of humanity's future, involving genetic manipulation, long-term control, and potential intervention by both benevolent and malevolent forces. Humanity is caught in a cosmic tug of war, with its destiny hanging in the balance. Understanding the truth about the Anunnaki and the other forces at play is crucial for making informed choices and shaping a positive future. Will we allow ourselves to be harvested, controlled, and manipulated, or will we awaken to our true potential and create a future of freedom, sovereignty, and self-determination? The choice is ours, but time is running out. What steps will we take toward freedom? What they don't want you to know is that you already have the power to do so. Will we become slaves or will we become gods? And so, our journey through the lost tablets and the hidden history of the Anunnaki is drawing to a close. Did you know that what we've explored challenges the very foundation of human understanding, forcing us to reconsider our origins, our purpose, and our destiny? We've journeyed through millennia, deciphered ancient texts, and confronted uncomfortable truths, haven't we? Let us recap what we have explored together. According to the lost tablets, the Annunnaki's arrival on Earth was not an act of benevolence, but a desperate attempt to escape a dying world, a search for resources to prolong their own existence. The tablets revealed that the genetic manipulation of humanity was not a divine gift, but a calculated act of resource extraction, a means to create a workforce to serve their needs. Remember, the Great Flood was not a divine punishment, but a catastrophic accident, a consequence of the Annunnaki's reckless disregard for the delicate balance of Earth. These events were not isolated incidents, but rather part of a grand design, a long-term plan to exploit humanity for their own purposes, and the most disturbing implication of all, that the Annunnaki's influence continues to shape human society to this very day, through hidden agendas, subtle manipulations, and the insidious control of our minds and souls. Is it possible we are living a lie? Are we merely puppets on a string, dancing to the tune of ancient overlords? Now, prepare yourself for an unexpected twist. What if I told you that benevolent extraterrestrial races foresaw the Annunnaki's plans, recognizing the potential for humanity to be enslaved and exploited? This knowledge prompted them to implement a fail-safe within the human genome, a latent ability to awaken and resist control when humanity reaches a critical point of awareness. This fail-safe, a spark of divine consciousness, lies dormant within each and every one of us, waiting to be ignited. It is a return to higher consciousness. This is why some people can so easily break out of societal norms and resist the Annunnaki's control. Have you felt this urge? Is this why you are watching this video? Consider the Anunnaki story as a reflection of the cyclical nature of power, the eternal dance between creation and destruction, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Throughout history, civilizations have risen and fallen, driven by the same desires for power, control, and domination. Are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? The story also raises a profound ethical question. Do advanced civilizations have the right to interfere with the development of less advanced ones, even with good intentions? What right do they have to play God? What gives them the authority to manipulate our DNA, control our minds, and dictate our destiny? Furthermore, consider the ethics of not helping others and the reptilian moral code, which prioritizes self-preservation and domination above all else. How have these morals influenced the Annunnaki's actions, and how have they shaped the course of human history? Even in the face of such daunting revelations, there is reason for hope. Humanity possesses the potential to overcome the Annunnaki's influence and create a more just and equitable world. The fail-safe within our genome is proof of our inherent capacity for resilience, creativity, and compassion. It is a testament to the power of the human spirit, our ability to rise above adversity and create a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. We are not merely victims of circumstance, but active agents in our own destiny. Furthermore, consider the vast mysteries of the universe and the ongoing quest for knowledge and understanding. The Anunnaki story is just one piece of a much larger puzzle, a glimpse into the complex tapestry of cosmic history. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we still don't know. But it is in the pursuit of knowledge, in the relentless questioning of authority, that we find true freedom and empowerment. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to Astral Legends for more content on ancient mysteries and alternative histories. But more importantly, continue researching ancient civilizations, question authority, and seek out alternative perspectives. The truth is out there, waiting to be discovered. Do not blindly accept what you are told, but rather seek the truth for yourself. Embrace your inner rebel. We hope that this content has guided you to seek the truth. Now, may the eternal light forever guide your path.